Nowadays, there are a lot of autoimmune diseases emerging around the world. The autoimmune process, the autoallergic process, affects a large number of organs. This includes the respiratory system, which can lead to bronchial asthma, and the nervous system, which can result in multiple sclerosis, a terrible disease that doesn't kill but leaves people disabled. Autoimmune diseases of the joints include rheumatism and rheumatoid arthritis. Autoimmune diseases very often affect the thyroid gland, such as the so-called Hashimoto's autoimmune thyroiditis. There are also autoimmune diseases of the kidneys, like glomerulonephritis, as well as others. Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis for the intestines, and uveitis for the eyes. Yes, any and all organs can be affected by the autoimmune process. But the very essence of the damage is that your own immune system attacks your own tissues, your own body. Why does this happen? Medicine does not provide a direct answer to this question, and because of this, the treatment of these autoimmune diseases is exclusively pathogenetic. All treatment can be etiological, pathogenetic, or symptomatic. Etiological treatment eliminates the cause, pathogenetic treatment acts on the mechanism of disease development, and symptomatic treatment relieves the symptoms. Autoimmune processes are not given etiological treatment for the simple reason that the cause of the disease is unknown. But I know because for many, many years, by performing examinations such as capillaroscopy, I have been observing how various organs function in the human body, studying medicine, and therefore I know why immune system failures occur, why the immune system starts attacking its own tissues, its own organs, its own natural cells, and why autoimmune processes develop. Let's go, guys. Today we're going to break down the mechanism of treating autoimmune diseases. But let's start a little further back. Look, the thing is, in our body, for all organs to function, besides receiving glucose and amino acids, they also need to receive energy. They need to receive heat. Our body is warm. Because our body is warm, the heat is produced by our liver and then spreads to all the organs through special channels, meridians. Because of this, all our organs, all parts of the body should be warm. This means that heat is reaching them well, not blood, heat. Understand, these are different things. And when a person has cold feet, this sign, this symptom of cold feet indicates that heat is not reaching two organs well, the kidneys and the adrenal glands. Always remember, if a person has cold feet, heat is not reaching the kidneys. Let me try to explain it this way. The heat from the stove, the liver first spreads into the leg and then rises up to the kidney. Then it rises to the adrenal gland. And when a person has cold feet, then the kidneys and adrenal glands work insufficiently. They lack the energy to function properly. As a result, the kidneys do a poor job of cleansing the body. And then these metabolic byproducts, excretory substances, not just urea and uric acid, but other substances as well, accumulate in the body and cause antigenic contamination, which alters the natural antigens, the little antennae on the cells of our body that are familiar to our immune system. It's as if the body becomes polluted. But that's not the main thing. The main thing is that the adrenal gland stops functioning properly. The adrenal gland is an endocrine gland that produces a whole series of hormones. But one of the main hormones is cortisol. There are corticosteroid hormones, 17-oxycorticosterone, and others, but that's not important. Corticosteroid hormones are the hormones of health, the hormones of life, the hormones that put an end to any inflammatory process. And this cortisol starts being produced less effectively. And the adrenal gland stops controlling the occurrence of various inflammatory processes throughout our body. When the adrenal gland is insufficient, the immune system goes haywire and starts attacking some organ. The pancreas can be affected, the kidneys can be affected, a joint can be affected, the eye can be affected in autoimmune uveitis, and different organs can be attacked by one's own immune system, damaged by cellular immunity, damaged by humoral immunity with the production of antibodies against one's own organs, against one's own natural cells. And this poses a huge problem. Autoimmune diseases of this kind in our medicine are treated only pathogenetically, that is, by stopping the inflammatory process using the same adrenal hormones, the same dexamethasone, the same prednisolone, methylprednisolone. These are hormones, steroid hormones, corticosteroids that are produced by our adrenal glands, but they are not produced in sufficient quantities. And we use these drugs to treat immune, autoimmune problems, allergic problems, and others. That is prednisolone, which is used to treat anaphylactic shock, well, to eliminate anaphylactic shock. And the reason is always that the adrenal gland doesn't get enough warmth. It doesn't get enough warmth because the person has cold feet. So how then can you cure an autoimmune process? Please understand this correctly. Symptomatically, treat each organ as needed to address the problems with that organ to eliminate the symptoms. I'm not going to influence that. Pathogenetically, we need to stop the inflammatory process. If stopping it right now requires using glucocorticosteroids, prednisolone, then use them. But that's just emergency, immediate help. I need to eliminate the cause of the illness. And the cause is that the person has cold feet. And in order for the adrenal gland to turn on and start working well, just like the kidneys, you need to warm up the person's feet. According to the principle, keep your head cool, but your feet warm, not just in socks, but truly warm. Socks don't keep you warm. Yes, people tell me, but warm sheepskin socks do keep you warm. Guys, socks just retain heat, but what you need is not to retain, but to warm up. You need to heat up your feet. And to warm up the feet, I use the infrared heat of heated turmanium ceramic material. Here I have a product made from turmanium ceramic. I set the temperature on the remote to 50 to 55 degrees or higher and wrap my feet with the product. Legs, that means thighs. Where are your thighs? Well, the thighs are between the hip joint and the knee. Yes. And the shins. Where are your shins? Calves. People say calves. Where are a person's calves? You know, I love saying the word calf. Where is a person's calf? Well, tell me, where is a person's calf? That's right. Caviar is from fish, caviar is from frogs. But humans don't have caviar. There is a calf muscle on the shin, and the shin is between the knee and the foot. So you need to wrap the legs. That means wrapping the shins, wrapping the thighs, and warm them up with the infrared heat of turmanium ceramics. And by the way, when you warm your legs, the heat instantly travels to your kidneys and adrenal glands. They get warmed up from this heat and from warming the legs. And when you warm your legs, you need to warm them until your feet start to sweat. You need your legs to actually sweat. That means you filled them with so much energy that it even starts to come out. And you start warming your legs, you'll notice that with autoimmune diseases, any of them, like multiple sclerosis, bronchial asthma, or glomerulonephritis, the legs are always cold. You warm them up, but they still stay cold because you need to heat them so much, so thoroughly, that they become warm and even start to sweat from the heat. The key point of this method is to warm your legs until sweat appears on them so that your legs actually sweat. And when you've warmed your legs to the point that they're sweating, that means you've poured in enough energy. And because you've given enough energy, your kidneys and adrenal glands start to do their job. This won't immediately stop the inflammatory autoimmune process, but it will prevent it from developing in the future. That's how the problem of autoimmune diseases is solved. Treat symptomatically, treat pathogenetically. But to eliminate the cause of this disease, you need to warm up the person's legs. Moreover, it's best to warm them up in the evening before bed so that you don't walk around afterward and warm them up so much that the legs actually sweat from the heat. And that's what creates the conditions so that relapses of the autoimmune inflammatory process do not occur. Is this the method to completely cure the autoimmune process? And I already have thousands of people who have started using this method. People ask me, "Doctor, where are your results?" The thing is, in these people, the autoimmune process has stopped. In cases of multiple sclerosis, the process has stopped. No, that doesn't mean they're already walking well. But they no longer experience inflammation, they don't have flare-ups, and they don't have recurring exacerbations of autoimmune processes. Well, symptomatically, further treatment is needed, directly addressing the specific disorders that the person has. So that's the information for you today, specifically about autoimmune diseases and what needs to be done about them.